Elbert Weinberg was born in Hartford, Connecticut in May 1928. This man, who was filled with love and creativity, will someday be acknowledged as one of the great sculptors of the 20th century. Weinberg's compositions emerged from the clutter of his studio, each piece defined by a well-told story, blending humor and pathos into whatever moved him at the moment. His work encompassed a spectrum of subjects and was presented in a wide range of materials, including bronze, marble, wood, terracotta, copper, stone, steel, concrete, and even the reeds of plants. He never did anything half-heartedly. He immersed himself in project after project, working at a frenetic pace. Difficult pieces and long hours were not barriers, simply a way to accomplish his ideas, regardless of the adversity. Some of his art was intuitive and occurred spontaneously, and some he slowly developed over a long planning period. He would doodle and sketch on whatever was at hand. Putting these ideas on paper, he would work out solutions to then accomplish his ideas in 3 dimensions. Sculpture was a continual process for Weinberg, which he approached with insight and compassion. There is great diversity in Weinberg's work, in materials, in surface textures, and in the styles he developed. Even when focused on one subject, his artistic variety so confounds our expectation that more than one person contributed to these, when the truth is that he created alone. In a 1982 review in Arts magazine of Weinberg's show on cats at the Borgenicht Gallery in New York, Anthony Hecht explains that Weinberg is the type of artist who is eager to enlarge his idiom so as to cover the widest ranges of experience, to risk new styles and the dangers of experiment, not for the sake of easy adventurism or flashy novelty, but by way of opening himself to large modes of feeling or realms of experience that a mastered but restricted vocabulary would not allow. As the youngest sculptor awarded a Prix de Rome at the time, Weinberg was besieged by admirers, journalists, collectors, and critics. There were articles in Life magazine. He had a gallery in New York, and he received more awards and honors. There were purchases for museum collections, commissions, private sales of his work, and shows. It was all happening all at once. The changing art scene of the late 1970s and early 1980s was such that there was limited demand for figurative art and artists. During this time, Weinberg supported himself primarily with commissions and competitions for public space. Now, in the 1990s, there seems to be a resurgent desire in the popularity of figurative art. At the time of Weinberg's death, he was working on 4 major commissions and had inquiries for others. As time passes, others will undoubtedly discover him to be a great sculptor. Elbert Weinberg died in Hartford, Connecticut in December 1991. During the early 1970s, Elbert had a New York show at the Borgenicht Gallery. Weinberg's theme was that mad dogs were taking over the seat of reason. The mad dogs represented various world leaders as Weinberg viewed these heads of state. The theme is as valid today as it was in the 70s or the 40s or any point in the history of man. Janice Connor and Joel Rosencrantz, in their article Fidos and Heroes in Bronze, describe Weinberg's Dog on a Burning Table as a work of anxiety, an abstract situation, or unexplained dilemma, and it is an emotion instantly conveyed and immediately comprehended by modern man. It represents the human condition, and we can empathize with this creature because it is us. It is our vulnerability. Weinberg's own words indicate these dog works to be some of his most expressionistic, the illusion of a final cry from the ultimate abyss. The idea of irrationality usurping the seat of reason, inspired by man's inhumanity to man, became thematic, and he juggled these dogs and chairs until the two finally metamorphosized. Elbert's aim was to find as strong and fresh a statement as possible, while keeping the skeletal formal concern, no matter how cantankerous the dog. Here you see part of the Borgenicht Gallery show in New York City. Many of these pieces are available for purchase. The Mutant Dog, one of Weinberg's most powerful pieces, portrays the result of mad dog leadership within the horrific mutation of a Hiroshima dog. This particular piece can be found in the Harcourt-Brace-Janovich text, Special Spaces. Weinberg had many commissions for sculptures in public places and privately owned buildings throughout the years. The greater Hartford area is fortunate to have 3 large outdoor Weinbergs. The first, his Procession No. 2, was completed in 1972 and is located in front of the Bethel Temple on Albany Avenue in West Hartford. The second, one of Weinberg's Holocaust memorials, was completed in the early 1980s and is located in front of the Greater Hartford Jewish Community Center on Bloomfield Avenue in West Hartford. It depicts 2 hands triumphantly pressing a shofar, or ram's horn, to the sky. The hands and the horn mime the Hebrew letter Chai, which symbolizes life. The piece is 18 feet tall, a significant number in Judaism. The third sculpture in Hartford is located in Minuteman Park, adjacent to the State Legislative Office building and the State Armory. It is an abstract 18 feet tall stainless steel garden of trees and leaves. Weinberg called it Pickles and Palms. This piece was completed in 1987. However, it was not installed until 1992. Consequently, Weinberg never saw its installation. Other visible Weinberg sculptures include Justice at the Boston University Law School, the Holocaust Memorial located at Freedom Square in Wilmington, Delaware, the Eagle on top of the Federal Reserve in Atlanta, Georgia, Mistral at the Embarcadero Center in San Francisco, Rites of Spring at One Peachtree Center in Atlanta, and his dancers at the Pan Pacific Hotel in San Francisco. Elbert Weinberg's work can also be seen at several museums, including the Whitney, the Museum of Modern Art, the Wadsworth, the Hersham, the Boston Museum of Fine Art, Storm King Art Center, the Jewish Museum, and several others. Weinberg's acclaim has been slow emerging. As time passes, others will undoubtedly discover him to be one of the great sculptors of the 20th century.